welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to do another of my little monthly updates before September has gone, because if I don't do it now I won't do it and it would be a shame to miss one. So I've got myself a coffee and the house is nice and quiet, because obviously kids are at school today, Mark's in the office in Manchester today, and I think I've mentioned this before, but I love days like this because this is kind of how I used to work, at least when the kids had like nursery, like preschool, like pre-COVID, and I would always have like, I quite appreciate having a bit of time on my own, and I think that I'm generally more productive. There's less distractions, things like that, and I just actually feel like by the end of a Tuesday and Thursday, which is when it generally happens, I feel like my cup has been filled. So it's a nice feeling. I just feel like I can just crack on and I'm not in anyone's way and I can just do my own thing, and it's just a bit easier, and it's nice because then when Mark comes home and the kids come home I can catch up with them. Yeah, it's the end of September pretty much. The day that I'm filming this is the 26th of September, which is just mad. I feel like we were on holiday, we got back, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh right, it's October next week. It's just gone so quickly, and it's that whole back to school, you really do go back in the deep end, don't you? It's not back to school, it's back in the deep end, and it always feels like a fresh start. And it's been good so far. Like the kids have done really well. Like it's mad to think I've got year 8 now, year 4 and year 2. I went to a little like parents open evening like talk that the high school does at the start of every year for like every year group. So I went to the year 8 one, and it was amazing the difference in how I felt being sat there, because I just felt so much more secure this year, and it's a nice feeling because year 7, like if you've got a year 7 high school starter right now, especially if it's your first, it's quite daunting, isn't it, getting your head around things, getting your head around like parent pay or whatever system your school uses for like checking timetables, this, that and the other, and just working everything out. Like, you know, our school does things like house points and I can't remember what the other one's called, but like C points, and it's like house points, so when you've done something good, and C points are like kind of like a warning system. I'm very pleased to say that Bill is not in the C point category, but it's weird, and it was very intense last year, and I remember feeling like emotional and feeling like quite overwhelmed, whereas this year we were just sat there, me and Suzanne, like we went together, and it just felt completely different. We came out and we were like, we know all of this, but you go, don't you, anyway, just in case, and you've got to go and like represent your kid and stuff. And yeah, I came away with a few ideas of like things that I want to do, like to be useful. I've ordered already actually some revision bits for Bill, not so much like books or tools. I've got a really itchy arm, but like I bought him a revision like booklet, like a notepad almost, but it's divided. And then I've also bought him some cue cards that you can attach to rings and like pair up for categories, which I just thought was really cool, because one of the things that school was mentioning is how like getting revision in from the get-go and like practicing your knowledge on certain subjects as you progress throughout the year is actually a really good tool. And I thought, you know what, we'll try it, because his exams normally happen just before his birthday, and I hate the fact that he spends the last few weeks in the run-up to his birthday feeling like stressed and like, oh my god, because it's hard when you get into that environment from like, you go from primary school where it's like quite minimal to something that's like a bit of a bigger deal. And in our school, I know every school is different, but he has sets of exams every single year with a view to getting them used to having to do exams for like GCSEs and A-levels, and I think it's probably quite a good approach, like long term, but sometimes short term that can be quite stressful. So I've ordered them, and I've ordered some new books off the reading list that they sent out, because there's a raw where they always have to have a reading book in their bag, and they get checked and stuff, and it's to encourage them to like stay active with like reading and that sort of thing, which I actually really approve of. So I've ordered him a couple of like young adult books from there, which I'm really excited to see what they're like actually, because the kind of books that once he's read them I could probably read them, to be fair, and that was really useful. And then like Daisy and Stam are just in the really comfortable parts, I feel, of primary school, where like year 2 and year 4 it's not too intense. Year 4 is a bit of a jump, I would say, for Daisy, but still it's not like, you know, year 5 and 6 where you start getting a little bit more like, okay, we've got to get you ready for high school kind of thing, and just doing like really well. And I was thinking about this before I did the school run, and I've got a Tesco shop coming later, but as is always the case, I forgot to add a couple of bits to it, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to nip into Waitrose. I'm going to get what we need, because then I know it's done, and I'm going to do some cleaning later, fingers crossed, if I have the time, because I've got some work things that I need to do and need to prioritise, like this video. I want to film a lot of stuff, and I thought I'm going to grab a few bits. And there was a mum in there with the cutest little girl, and she was on one of those, you know, those push bike type things with the handle and you push them along, and she looked up at me from like down here, and she was like and smiling at me, and she was so cute. And I looked at her and thought, oh my god, she's absolutely adorable. But I didn't feel the longing, yearning that maybe I would have felt when Stan was like 3, 4. Honestly, when Stan was 3 or 4, even though I knew logistically that we were done and like sensibly, I still had these feelings of like, I don't want this stage of our lives to end. But I think what that was more, I was grieving my babies growing up. And I never really had the conversation with Matt. I never really brought it up. I never said to him like, do you think we should have another? It was kind of like I recognised that something felt off, but I didn't really know what it was. But looking back now, I was just struggling with my last baby approaching school. And when he did start school, honest to God, that first week, the amount of times I just cried randomly, because I really missed that kid. And you know what, he did nursery, like preschool sort of stuff, and he did that a few days a week anyway, because obviously I needed him in childcare to be able to work and stuff. But for some reason school felt so finite, because with nursery or preschool, if you decide for whatever reason that they're not going in that day, it's fine. You can take them out and they're yours, and they're in your, like, I feel like, you know, you have more sort of control over the situation when your children are younger. And then when you send them off to school, you know, technically you can't take them out of school unless it's the holidays for holidays and that sort of thing. You kind of have to like relinquish some of that to society, and it feels really weird. And I think that for a long time I struggled with that. I'm going to actually sip this coffee because it's going to be stone cold Steve Austin if I don't. So 1 second. That barista Alpro, love Alpro. It's caramel one, and it's oat and soy mix. It's definitely more on the oat side. It's very creamy, but it's actually delicious if you want something different. You know, for your coffees in autumn, winter, I would give that a go. It's really, I really like it. I don't drink cow's milk anymore. I just don't. I'm not a vegetarian or vegan. I can't pretend that I am. I eat a lot of like veggie products, but I just really like this. I find it's better for my tummy and everything. I just prefer it. I still eat loads of cheese, mind, but yeah, anyway. So yeah, I think for me it was hard. It was hard at first to adjust to that and just that change, and I found myself resisting it a little bit because I didn't really want to be in the stage that I'm in now. I found that quite nerve-wracking. I found it quite daunting. I found it quite foreign to me, and I was unsure. Like, I didn't know if I wanted to say goodbye to those little kid years and the cuddles and the way they say words a certain way and how sweet they are. But what I've come to realise is that they're adorable no matter what age they are, and even when they're rapidly approaching the same height as you, as Bill is. I mean, his dad's 6'2", so he's going to be a tall lad anyway, but they're still lovely. They still want to cuddle you. They still want to like talk, and like you just sort of find yourself one day like, oh, I'm in this stage now, and it actually, this is where I want to be. So I saw that little girl and I thought she was adorable, but I didn't like want that anymore, and I didn't miss it. I mean, sometimes I miss it with my children and I look back really fondly, but it is what it is. And I think, as I touched on in my last update, I've really changed this year, and I didn't understand the full impacts of how much losing someone that's important to you can change your whole outlook. So I got to a week off 36 with no grief in my life, aside from pets. But what I will say is that the pets that I had lost, I lost them when I was younger, and for me personally, their loss was not as impactful as losing my granddad. But that is not to say that losing a pet is not impactful, because I've lost pets since I've lost him, and I was heartbroken. I feel a little bit emotional, but I'm okay. But I think it's just where I'm at now. I'm just aware of how fleeting everything is. I keep thinking, so I was 35 when he died, and he was, you know, his mid-80s. So that would be me if I was so lucky in 50 years' time. So 35 isn't that far off 50 really in the grand scheme of things. If you're doing a bit of maths, a bit of sums, it's not. But then it also feels like a whole other rest of my lifetime away. But it just made me realise that once upon a time my granddad was 35, and I think these walks with my nana, the stories that she told me about their lives, and because it's one-on-one, our conversations go much deeper, because you know when you're in a group, the conversation's more widespread like this, and you kind of stay in this area around the same topic for a lot longer, and it spreads this way. But when it's the two of you, two people, I find conversations go like this, and they go up and out, and they expand, and you touch on so many different areas. And I think I've just learned a lot about her. I've learned a lot more about him, and I am just sort of in a weird state where I'm like, oh my god, this isn't going to last forever. And it's kind of changed my outlook on some things, that I don't want to keep sitting around and resting on my laurels and waiting for the right day to do something, or the right day to do that. I've kind of got to a state where I'm like, I just need to grab life by the tits and go for it, and like just stop holding myself back. But then also I am still very much fixed in this sensation of anticipatory grief, in that I know that the next stage of my life is going to be a life that's filled with a lot of grief, and losing people that mean a tremendous amount to me, and I'm scared about that sometimes. As I mentioned last time, it preoccupies my thoughts a lot, and it's kind of contradictory, because on one hand I'm like, come on, seize the day, carpe diem, all this shit, and then the next minute I'm like, I don't want to move from where I am right now. I don't want to change. I don't want anyone else to go. I don't want anyone else to leave. And I'm frightened. Like sometimes I feel really vulnerable admitting this, but sometimes I will go from like visiting my grandparents on like Fridays that we do, or I'll come from seeing my nana, and then I will come home and I will cry, but it's with like gratefulness. It's with like, oh, I love them so much, and I'm so happy that I've had this. That's where that comes from. So I'm still struggling a bit with grief. I think that sometimes it just hits me in a different way now. Like I feel like I have processed and accepted that he's not here, but then also it's left me with a lot of thoughts and a lot of emotions and a lot of like sort of getting my head around the fact that it's a part of life. Another thing that made me feel really, it was a big step for me, but and it might seem minor to you, but it felt really bad to me. Like I got upset and I told Mark about it. So I got a new phone. I got the iPhone 16 Pro Max. And ever since Grandad passed on my old phone, he has always been my screensaver with the kids. And I didn't have the functionality, or at least I didn't understand how to do it. Someone said that you can rotate your photos, and I hadn't worked out how to do that on my screensaver on my old phone. And I couldn't take Grandad off. I couldn't take him off. And then I got this phone, and I was setting it up, and it was like, what do you want as your screensaver? And I saw this functionality, and now I've been able to move to a point where I can have like my screensaver changes. So at the moment it's my beautiful family, and that felt like huge. And like Grandad will come on now and I will see him and I will smile. I'm also able to like see my family and smile and like have like, I don't know, I think I felt like I'd like betrayed him, like let him down if I took him off. But I'm glad that I did it, because I think that shows a sign of me like sort of growing in my grief a little bit. But I swear he's everywhere. I swear he is. And that sounds really silly. I've told you about like our Google Home and how his photos just always seem to be on when I look at it. And that could just be coincidence, but I swear it's him. And then, so at the start of this week, I'm going to tell you a story, and it's a nice one. I hope you all enjoy listening to it. It does end well. But I struggle with my hormones, as you know. I've spoken about this a lot, and I would say that I still have quite dark periods of the month when it's my luteal phase in the run up to my period, and I do get a release once my period starts, but it's a couple of days in. So the worst days for me are the day before that I come on, which I always know because I track my cycle on Flow, as you know, and I can feel it, and I will just go so down. I become avoidant. I don't want to speak to people. Like in the playground, I will avoid people because I'm so anxious, and I haven't got anything. I become quite subdued. I can be a bit like, do you know, like that kind of emotion. I'm sure you get it, where I get like quite touched out quite easily. And I was so down on Tuesday, which is when I finally came on. I was so down. I was so down in the dumps. Like Mark was in the office that day, and actually that day I found it quite hard because I missed him, because I just felt really like isolated, lonely, that sort of thing. And I got through the day, and I went to bed, and I went upstairs, and I was doing my makeup, and out of nowhere, there was no reason for it to have happened, because the radiator wasn't on, so it wasn't heat swirling around, and I've been in the bathroom for a while at that point. But we have a shower screen in our ensuite that when you push it to, it is to. It doesn't swing or anything like that. It kind of like clicks into place. Out of nowhere, I was like taking my makeup off, and I was just like and then out of nowhere, this shower door just really gently swung open, and I could see it in the mirror behind me, and I was like, oh, I'm all right, Grandad, because I just take signs for what they are, and like my nana's exactly the same. And I was like, I'll be all right. And then I went to bed, and I was just really just struggling, to be honest. And I woke up the next morning, and you know when you wake up and your alarm goes off and you just think, I really don't want to get up. I don't want to get up. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't really want to do today. I'm so tired. But you do. You get up because that's life, and you've got kids and they need breakfast, and, you know, you've got work to do, this, that and the other. So I got up, got everyone sorted, dragged my gym clothes on, and I took myself to the gym. And honestly, the whole walk there, I was like, don't want to go, don't want to go, don't want to go. Got there, and I scanned my card. There's a little bit by the door where you can just scan yourself in. Like some people like to go to reception, but I just do that because it's quicker. But then the team at reception, one of the guys I know quite well because he's taught both of my kids to swim, like the younger two. And he's just dead friendly, like chat to him all the time. Really lovely man. And he said, are you still going at it? And I was like, yeah, I'm trying. He was like, what are you doing now? And talking about how many times I go. And he was like, I've got some really good news for you. And I was like, oh, all right. And I walk closer because I'm a hearing aid user. And like, if I know I'm going to enter into a proper conversation, I like to be closer because I do kind of lip read you a little bit. And if you know me in real life, you probably have noticed that. But I went over and I started talking to him and he was like, so we have this thing every month and it's our member of the month. And I was like, oh right, yeah, cool. And I still hadn't twigged. And he was like, so basically it's for people that we've recognised who are like working really hard or just show a lot of passion for like sport or fitness and things like that. And it's just our way of saying like, well done you, we see you, we recognise you. And he was like, you are our member of the month. And he was like, I've wanted to put you forward for ages. We had someone that like climbed, I don't know, Ben Nevis or something, or I don't know what it was, the month before, and he was like, and I've been waiting like to put you forward because we've been watching you, like we're all like really proud of you, because I started and I was like, you know, almost a year ago actually, in October last year, so we're getting really close. And I started and I wasn't capable of much, and I really was dragging myself there every day, and like slowly but surely I've seen results, and I think physically it's really starting to show now. But he was like, we think you've done amazingly and we'd love for you to be our member of the month if that's okay. You get a goodie bag and then you get a month of your membership free, which is amazing. But I got my little goodie bag and like they took a photo of me, and then I think I'm getting put on social media at some point. I think it might be October or whatever, but I got like a little drinks bottle. I've not shown the kids this yet because they will all get taken by the kids, but this little football, what's it called, you know these things. I got that. I got a slap band, which I'm half tempted to keep myself because it's so entertaining. But again, that will get stolen. And I have some pens, some Haribo, and randomly a pair of sunglasses, which was great. But do you know what? The membership being free for a month, I'm so grateful for, because like, I mean, I go to a leisure centre gym, so it's a lot cheaper than like your big posh gyms. But that's still like, what a gift. That's amazing. And especially on the run up to Christmas, can save that money and put it towards a present or something. And the main thing for me was just to have somebody recognised. Like, I just get my head down and I go, and I've never done it with any expectation of anybody like telling me I've done a good job. Like, I don't do it for that, I do it for me. And I went upstairs afterwards where the gym is, and I went into the toilet and I ended up crying because it was so... It made me feel so emotional and like so like recognised, and just I felt really proud of myself in that moment. And I just thought, you know what, you nearly didn't come today. And then I went on this cross trainer and I did an hour straight. So I've got a photo actually. I don't normally take them, but I've got a photo of what I was doing. So I do a program. We have digital screens on these new machines that we've got now, and there is an actual setting called cross trainer, and you go on it, and what it will do is like push the resistance really high and then drop it, and then it's to sort of shock your body so you don't just get used to doing the same pace. And then there's like hills at the start and stuff. It's really challenging, and I started on level 6 and now I'm on level 16. Like level 6 is hard. I'm gonna take some credit where it's due. Like Mark did it once with me. He came to the gym and he was like, how are you doing that? And he was like, you must have really built up your muscles, because he was struggling. And he won't mind me saying that because I can't run for shit. He's done a bloody marathon this year, so we've all got our own strengths. But I was doing that and I thought, I'm going to do a whole hour. I've moved myself up to an hour recently. And I was just in the mood and I was really enjoying it. I was watching Fat Friends and I felt incredible. And then Mark rings and he was like, right, do you and Suzanne still want Kylie tickets? And I was like, oh, what? And like we tagged him over the weekend as a joke and saying, oh, best get on it, because they were getting released to the public on Friday. And like we discussed it, but we hadn't had a proper chat. And me and Suzanne are going out tonight for like a wine tasting, like meal type thing. So we were going to chat about it then, and then maybe talk about getting tickets on the Friday. And he was like, no, I've got a code to get into the pre-sale and I'm going to try and get them for you. And then so I messaged Suzanne, I'm still there like this, like going away, like doing it. And then she rings me and she's like, oh my God, is he serious? Is he able to get them? I was like, yeah, do you want them? Are you still in? And we were like, yeah, like I'm a huge Kylie fan, so is she. Like I was obsessed as a kid. And he managed to get us tickets, and it was just like this so weird of a feeling. Like I had no idea he was going to do that. I had no idea he had like a special link to get into the pre-sale. I just wasn't expecting it, and it was so cute of him because he'd been like watching the whole thing, like watching it all unfold and getting ready in the queue. And he's so sweet, and like I love him so much, and that just made us so excited afterwards. And then when I finished my workout, I literally stopped what I was watching, and then the speakers at the gym came on with a song, and it was one of like my favourite songs, you know, like as a workout song. One of my favourite like dance tunes from back when we were younger is one called You Sure Do. I don't know if you know which one I mean, but it's like, I don't want to sing it, but you sure make me feel like loving you. That one, really good. And it came on and I thought, what, that's mad, because that doesn't get played very often anymore. And I just thought it was like these three little moments in the space of, like say, an hour and 15 minutes. It just all happened one after the other. And I just honestly felt like it was my granddad going, come on. And that's just how it is to me. That's how I've interpreted it. And I felt so lucky. And I came home and Mark was in a call, so I couldn't go and speak to him right away. But I sat in the kitchen and I cried, and I cried and I cried and I cried. And I think some of it was I was happy and grateful and like just really feeling good. But then the other part of it was like, oh God, I really miss him. And like, it was just one of those days where grief just like got me, but in a really different way. And I think it's just a funny one to, and I don't really know why I'm telling you this, but maybe someone else is grieving right now and you're wondering what it's like further down the line, or maybe you need to hear it from someone else, I don't know. But it just was really special, and I've kept that with me all week, and my anxiety's getting a little bit less, and I've finished this horrible period by the end of the week, I'm sure, probably tomorrow really, or today, and I know I'll start to feel better. But it was just one of those moments where I just felt really comforted. And yeah, like, so we're going to go and see Kylie in May next year. I'm really excited about that. I've started, what else? I feel like I need to wrap it up. I've started buying a few bits for Christmas, putting them to one side, like more the foodie items. I've not really thought about presents too much, but I will be soon. And I'm just getting in the mood for like what it's going to be like. I'm trying to make my house cozy. I don't know if you can see much in the background, but I haven't put any autumn stuff out yet. I think the main reason for that is that September's been so busy, but also quite sunny, and then now all of my stuff is in the loft, which I don't really feel like I can safely get on my own, because I can go up there and get it, but like, who do I pass it to? Like, Merlin's not going to be like, I'm ready, Mum. That's not going to work. So I need my husband's help with that, really. Or in the very least, like, Bill, could, like, wait at the bottom or something like that. But it's, I want to get my house cozy now. Weather's miserable. I don't think the 20s are going to come back anytime soon. I don't think I'm going to be wearing dresses anytime soon. And I just want to really enjoy the next few months. I don't want to be stressed. I want to be more organised, because I take it upon myself and have a lot of pressure sometimes to make everything magical and perfect. I want to be this magic maker. I want to make things so special for my children, and I still want to do that, but I want to do it with a sense of organisation. I've been really busy this week with bookings for work, so I know that's going to be quite intense. Oh, UPS is here. 1 second, I need to give them Mark's return. He keeps buying things, and then he goes off to the office and he's like, oh, are you waiting for them to come and collect my return? And I'm like, are you really lucky that I don't have things to go out and do today? So yeah, I don't know what I was saying. Yeah, I just want everything to flow nicely. I really want to enjoy this time of year. It's no secret that I've found things like hard previously in like, you know, the early stages of this year, and I just kind of want to end it on a high, which is kind of what this series was all about. Because what have I got after this? 3 more videos, 3 more months. And I think when I started this video, I said that I wanted to make this year about me and like focusing on my health and getting my confidence back up and just trying to be happy. And how do I feel 3/4 of the way in? I'm proud of myself, because I think it would have been an easier thing to do, would be just to give in to the harder times, but I haven't. I'm physically fitter, I'm slimmer than I used to be. I have no like desire to stop that anytime soon. I've got my own goals. I actually have a dress that I have a design of, like a few different colours, and I used to wear them religiously. I loved these dresses at this time of year. They made me feel so confident. And last year when I tried to wear them, they didn't fit. They didn't fit, and I felt insecure. I was gutted, because they were my go-to, and I got rid of a lot of things, which I kind of regret now, because now a lot of my clothes don't fit me because they're too big. I got rid of a lot of things, and I just resigned myself to the fact that I was never going to be like that again. But I couldn't get rid of these dresses, and my aim is to be able to wear them in the run up to Christmas again. Hopefully like maybe November time. It would be amazing if they fit. I don't know if they fit. They might fit now, but I'm not letting myself try them on yet, because I don't want to get disheartened. But that's like a little personal goal. I'm not really asked about what the scales say so much, but I would love to just keep progressing and keep being the healthiest version of myself that I can be, because I also understand that, and I think that's why I've had success with what I've been doing, is that it's not really about being small so much, it's about being healthy. And like I want to live a long and fruitful life, and I want to be around for my kids, and I don't want to go anywhere anytime soon. So that's really given me a new sense of like determination, and I am happy. I'm really happy in a lot of areas of my life. I think there's some areas that like I could do better at, and I'm always worrying and second guessing everything, but that's just in my nature to do so. But I think I'm doing okay, and I want to continue that way. I want to continue being myself. I want to continue like being strong. I want to continue having boundaries and saying no, that's not acceptable. Something I learned recently is that you can be kind, but you can still say no, and like you can still say like push back on people. And I think it also, you don't want to be nice, you want to be kind. I think it's that way round. Like I am a kind person, I am a nice person, but I don't want to keep being a people pleaser. That's another thing I'm really working on. And like also not apologizing for the person that I am anymore, and not apologizing for like, you know, the way I choose to live my life and those things. It's like I'm just trying to work on being like all the women in my life that I admire, because I really respect them, and I love the way that they choose to live their lives, and I love their confidence, and I love their self-acceptance, and I want that for myself too. And really, as I come up to October, I'm just so bloody proud of that version of me who decided to give herself another chance and go to the gym for that first time and say, I'm going to try this for that first time, because I'm so grateful to her. There are no quick fixes when you want to get fitter and healthier and lose some weight and this, that and the other, but I've realised it's just consistency and self-respect, and having the belief that you can do it, and also making sure that your reasons are more than just being smaller. And yeah, I'm excited. I hope the next 3 months are lovely. I hope your next 3 months are lovely, and well done if you got to the end of this video, because I don't half chat, do I? But anyway, I'm gonna go now. I've got a lot to do today. I really want to smash it so I can go out later with Suzanne and just enjoy myself, and there's nothing like that I didn't tick off my list because I hate that feeling. But yeah, I'm gonna go, so have a lovely rest of your day and I will see you all very soon.